Good afternoon, students. So in this video, we're going to go over different types of sentences. So in English, you have 4 different kinds of sentences. You have a simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, and compound complex sentence. And if you know the different kinds of sentences and sentence structure, you can avoid sentence fragments. You can also have more sentence variety in your essays if you know the different types of sentences. And so in my previous videos, especially if I did a week 6 instructor session in my Professor H writing channel, you will find many of my videos where I teach various classes about sentence structure, where we're doing the week 7 quiz for the Fortis College English 101 class. And the week 7 quiz always goes over sentence structure. So this particular lesson on sentence structure I've gone over many times. And so if you look up in the Professor H writing channel, week 6 instructor session, all those week 6 instructor sessions all go over sentence structure. So this, at least this topic, I've done many times. So this topic you'll see many times on my writing channel. So without further ado, we're going to go over the Nancy Hacker, and you would think I would know that name already. Diane Hacker and Nancy Sommers, Rules for Writers version of different kinds of sentences or sentence types. So without further ado, I'm going to go over different kinds of sentences or sentence types. Sentences are classified in 2 ways. According to their structure, simple, compound, complex, and compound complex, and according to their purpose, declarative, imperative, interrogative, and exclamatory. Sentence structures. Depending on the number and types of clauses they contain, sentences are classified as simple, compound, complex, or compound complex. Clauses come in 2 varieties, independent and subordinate. An independent clause contains a subject and a predicate, and it either stands alone or could stand alone as a sentence. A subordinate clause also contains a subject and a predicate, but it functions within a sentence as an adjective, an adverb, or a noun. It cannot stand alone. Simple sentences. A simple sentence is one independent clause with no subordinate clauses. Without a passport, Eva could not visit her grandparents in Hungary. So this is an independent clause. A simple sentence may contain compound elements, a compound subject, verb, or object, for instance, but it does not contain more than one full sentence pattern. The following sentence is simple because its 2 verbs, come in and goes out, shares the same subject, spring. Spring comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. So that is an independent clause, meaning that that's a thought that can stand on its own. A compound sentence. A compound sentence is composed of 2 or more independent clauses with no subordinate clauses. The independent clauses are usually joined with a comma and a coordinating conjunction, and, but, for, or, no, so, yet, or with a semicolon. The car broke down, independent clause, comma, coordinating conjunction. A rescue van arrived within minutes. That's another independent clause. A shark was spotted near shore, independent clause, semicolon. People left immediately, independent clause. Both of these are both compound sentences. So when you have 2 sentences joined by either a coordinating conjunction or a semicolon, that's known as a compound sentence. And the word compound simply means 2. So compound sentence simply means 2 sentences. Complex sentence. A complex sentence is composed of 1 independent clause with 1 or more subordinate clauses. Adjective. The pitcher who won the game is a rookie. So who won the game is a rookie. Who won the game is a subordinate clause. The pitcher is a rookie is the independent clause. And then who won the game is an adjective clause that modifies pitcher, hence adjective. Then when you put the dependent clause, who won the game, together with the pitcher is a rookie, so a dependent clause plus an independent clause is a complex sentence. If you leave late, take a cab home. And so if you leave late is a subordinate clause that modifies take a cab. So here, subordinate clause, when subordinate clause or dependent clause comes at the beginning of the sentence, you have you always have to have a comma. Noun clause. What matters most to us? So this whole subordinate clause is a subject. So this is a clause that's used as a noun. So therefore, it is a noun clause. Compound, complex. And so when you have a dependent clause with a whole sentence, that makes it a complex sentence. Compound, complex sentence. A compound, complex sentence contains at least two independent clauses and at least one subordinate clause. So if you were to write a compound sentence and simply add a dependent clause, then you would have a compound, complex sentence. So here's an example of a compound, complex sentence. Tell the doctor how you feel, and she will decide whether you can go home. So tell the doctor how you feel, that is an independent clause. And how you feel is a subordinate clause. That's a dependent clause that modifies the patient. And she will decide whether you can go home, and she will decide. So she will decide is an independent clause, and then whether you can go home is a subordinate clause. And so tell the doctor how you feel, and she will decide whether you can go home. You have dependent clause plus an independent clause within one sentence, which makes a compound, complex sentence. Sentence purposes. Writers use declarative sentences to make statements, imperative sentences to issue requests or comments, interrogative sentences to ask questions, and exclamatory sentences to make exclamations. A declarative sentence, the echo sounded in our ears. So in a declarative sentence, we simply make a statement. So when we write our thesis statements, we are making a declarative sentence. We are making a statement. Imperative. An imperative statement means that you're giving an order or request, and that the subject, you, is understood in the sentence because you're giving the viewer or the reader a direct order. Love thy neighbor. Interrogative sentence. An interrogative sentence asks a question. Did the better team win tonight? An exclamatory sentence is when you get all excited and you want to exclaim to the world how you feel, just like with an interjection. We're here to save you. So those are the four purposes of a sentence, either to declarative, to make a statement or make a claim. Imperative, in which you're giving an order. Interrogative, in which you are asking a question. Or exclamatory, when you want to exclaim something to the world. And so this video, this particular video about sentence types is really short because we're just going over the different kinds of sentences. So simple sentence, subject, verb, object. Then compound sentence, you have two sentences joined by fanboys and a comma. A complex sentence means that you have an independent clause and a dependent clause joined together. A compound complex sentence means that you have a compound sentence with or two sentences, or a compound sentence with a subordinate conjunction, with a subordinate clause. And then you have four purposes for sentences: declarative, to make a claim; imperative, to give an order; interrogative, to ask a question; and exclamatory, to exclaim emotion or to make exclamations. So that's it for this. That's it for this particular video in which I go over the different kinds of sentences. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me anytime.